Yes, my top three choices were Maryland, there was also Virginia Tech, and then there was, say top, I would probably say there was Richmond as well. And honestly, the decision that I made was to be closer to home. After speaking with my former high school coach, he said, your name was built here, you'll have support here, and then you can represent your state. And so that was a big part of me making that decision to stay here in Maryland and play for, my home school.
We'll get up and walk right through these walls, yeah, 'cause we are
tapped into their resources.
Absolutely. Locker room talk would have been the number one resource I would have went to before making any decision to what college I was going to go to. Again, you're looking at reviews. It's just like buying a product. Before you buy a book or a product online, you're able to tap into what are these people saying about their experience with the product or the service. And so Locker Room Talk gives that, they give that insight. They help you do the due diligence before you make that decision, and it's critical. And again, this decision that you make picking the college that you're about to go to, it literally sets you up for the rest of your life. And making that wrong decision can knock you off years. And so Locker Room Talk, I would use it as the number one platform if I was going through this experience again. Oh, it's helped me tremendously. Football has helped me in my professional life in a way that I am able to be a leader. I'm able to encourage people through, difficult processes. It's because everything is about a team environment. I truly believe in order for you to be successful in any area in your life, you have to be able to pour into others and help other people get what they want. And so in the professional side of things, when I'm out there helping coaches or helping people personally, coaching them through a life problem, again, football has helped me to look at things from a different perspective. It's helped me to encourage the people that I'm working with. And it's really helped me to come up with strategy, because football is about strategy. It's not all about, who's the most talented, but it's about how do we create a strategy to win. And so that's what's really helped me to be, a great, personal coach and personal development coach, to inspire the young people as well as, people who are older than myself to live a life that they've always wanted. I think that the outlets when I was going through the recruitment process was more of coaches' relationships with other football programs, and that was critical at that time. And I truly believe it's critical now that your high school coach has great relationships with college coaches. Now we have social media where you could put your game film and highlights and things of that nature on YouTube and social media, and you can actually email your footage to college coaches all around the country. So using platforms like Locker Room Talk, because they are affiliated with, college programs, as well as there's Athletes USA, there's a number of different platforms that can help expose you, but there is nothing like exposing yourself and your brand on your social media platforms. I have seen people get offers and get scholarships because a college coach saw their Facebook page or their Instagram and saw that, hey, this guy looks pretty good, we should get in contact with them. So use what you have now. Now social media is huge. Get your highlights and all of your information out there on those different media platforms, and I truly believe it will reap some great benefits for you. On the collegiate level, I mean, honestly, it's you got a group of young men who are going through a number of different struggles. So a lot of it dealt around females, a lot of it dealt around, honestly, it was game. It was because when you're on that level of college, whether you're playing on D1 or you're playing on D3, a lot of it is revolved around the sport of football or whatever sport you're playing. So it was all about school, football, and probably females, and trying to find a way to incorporate social life, as well as, you know, bring in some personal things. You know, there's a lot of times guys may have children, some of them may have wives, some of them may have had family members going through a lot of health issues. So, you know, there's a lot of times when I remember, you know, praying with a lot of different guys, you know, on my team to help them, you know, through the process, because they were dealing with a lot of things personally that was off of the field. So you're dealing with anything that you can think of, whether it's in your workplace or in your school right now. You're just dealing with it on a different level. And I think that when you have, you know, that environment where you can open up in that team environment, you can be transparent, and you know what's going to stay in the locker room, that's where you form some strong teams, and you create some great relationships. For me, my pregame was, I listened to a mix between gospel music and, of course, a little bit of hype music, whether it be a little bit of R&B. I threw a little bit of, you know, rock and roll in there as well. But one of the things that I did right before game time was I spent time with God, spent time in prayer, spent time in meditation, and just, you know, really just clearing my mind and doing a lot of visualization techniques, imagining myself and visualizing myself doing well on the field right before I went out there. And a lot of guys use the same type of techniques, but for me, the uniqueness was really the visualization part of it, is really just taking time and visualizing how I was about to play and perform at my highest level.
All facets.
For all of them, yeah. Well, I forgot to mention my Lord and Savior. You know, Jesus is my number one. I mean, honestly, you know, to watch someone walk in their purpose and to be so selfless about it, you know, there's no better leader in the world. And if we could take some of those principles and apply it to our everyday life, we'd have better marriages, better families, better team environments, better companies, and honestly a better world. If, you know, that would make it a perfect world. But I literally look to, you know, to him to see how I'm supposed to communicate with people, what I'm supposed to look out for, so I don't start walking down a path that's going to lead to destruction. So that's probably my number one that's not listed. Physically, though, if I'm going to use a physical mentor in this life, I mean, again, all of those are listed. I can also, you know, use, you know, there's Eric Thomas, who's out there, is a huge, you know, motivational speaker around the world. But there's just so many. I feel like you can pick and choose from people who've made such a huge difference. But, you know, there's nothing like, you know, Jesus, who literally walked the earth and showed us how it was all supposed to be done. My favorite lift had to have been, of course, I think the bench press. You know, I was 185 pounds. My max was like roughly 405, and to be able to do that with a little bit of body weight, I wasn't the biggest guy. I mean, being 5'8" and being able to do that, it really took my confidence to a total different level, to where I was like, if I can focus in on doing something like that, like I can accomplish anything. So that had to have been the biggest accomplishment and my most favorite lift, if I had to choose one.
Awesome. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Absolutely.
From Locker Room Talk and myself, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.